sure everything is functioning. Right, everything is functioning. So this is uncharacteristic of me. I had a thought while I was meditating about what I might do on this podcast. And if you ever listen to my podcast, you know that's not always the case. But today I was meditating and I thought, I don't meditate like that actually. I was just sitting and I thought, you know, what is the difference? I was drawing on a conversation I had with a client last week and a little conversation I had on Instagram with someone about all the kind of solutions, in inverted commas, that are out there for women going through menopause, as if there's some kind of solution that exists that you won't actually have menopause, or perimenopause as we now call it. Call it what you will, you know what I'm talking about. So the thing is, we're all looking for solutions. Of course we are. We're like, oh my goodness, I can't cope like this. This is just insane. I can't cope with feeling like this. I can't concentrate, can't forget. I can forget. I can't remember. You know, I'm sad, I'm mood swings, I'm depressed, I'm irritable, I'm happy momentarily, but not for long. And all of that stuff. So we want solutions. So here's my little analogy, which I hope will help those of you that are watching this as a training. And if you actually want the live training for this and you're on Instagram, I'm going to ask you to head over to Facebook, because that's where in the Menopause Anxiety Freedom group, I actually provide the full trainings. So if you're on Instagram now, podcast listeners are thinking, what is she doing? I'm now switching into Facebook Live on the Menopause Anxiety Freedom group. So swing yourself over there and catch this video there. All right. So, my friends, I'm still on Facebook, as you know, and I'm just pressing some buttons. Just concentrate, Shirley. So where am I? I'm talking about, sorry, podcast listeners, about this video thing. It's all very confusing, isn't it? Anyway, here we are. And I'm now thinking, did I even press the podcast record? Probably. Well, we'll find out later, won't we? Yes, I did. Right. So where was I? With the training. Let's have a sip of coffee. Got to have some coffee on a Monday morning, haven't you? Right, my friends. So I was thinking, imagine all these symptoms that we experience are just kind of random dots. Okay, they're just all over the place, but they're not remotely connected. There's like one over here that's forgetfulness, there's one over there, loss of concentration, one over here that's anger, one over here that's anxiety and panic, one over here that's brain fog. You know, there's all these different dots. Imagine them as dots. And you've got some options. So let's say option one is you go to your GP, and your GP is a kind of, right, I've got two solutions. There's this hormone thing, HRT, or there's some antidepressants because you're feeling a bit low. Take it or leave it. And you go, yeah, but I don't. What about these other dots? You know, I've got all these. No, I don't do dots. I just do. Are you menopausal? Are you depressed? That's it. That's all I've got. There's two options. Don't tell me about all the dots. I'm not interested in all the dots. Just, you're menopausal, take these hormones. You're depressed, take these. So no, but there's no but. Two dots. I'm sorry, I don't do all the other dots. Just move along. I know I'm paraphrasing. I'm being very unkind to many people in the clinical profession, and I know there are some people that specialize in menopause, but nonetheless, the solution will be hormones. Now, for some of us, that will work, and we'll go, great, thank you, excellent, and we go away and we're happy. But then we try to persuade, potentially, all our friends to do the same thing because it worked for us. But I would urge you to stop doing that, because what works for you or me may not work for our best friends or our sisters or whoever. So we all have to follow our own path. And that's actually a bit deflating, because it would be really nice, because, you know, when it comes to where do you get the best coffee or where did you get that dress, it's really nice to go to our friends and our family and go to the same place because we trust their judgment. But when it comes to menopause and symptoms like anxiety, like brain fog, all of that stuff, unfortunately, what works for one person may not work for another. So we have option number 2. We've done the first one, which is that we don't care what the dots are, I've just got 2 solutions. Let's say option number 2 is supplements, vitamins, blankets, I don't know, yoga, breathing, a whole host of stuff, some of which is really, really great. But each one potentially is for a specific dot or a couple of dots. Or no, I'm sorry, you need that. It's a different dot. No, you need something else. So you're taking a supplement for this and you're breathing for that. And you're trying to find a solution for all the individual dots, but they're not all being satisfied. So you spend a lot of time, probably in Facebook groups, asking people, what do you do for this dot? Have you got that dot? I use this for that dot. So again, you're in that, you want to be where you would be if you're buying shoes or clothes. Where's the best place to buy the most amazing killer heels? I don't do that anymore, but I used to love shoes. I can't be doing heels now, especially when I live in the country. They're not much use walking across fields. I digress. So again, we come back to, I want advice. And so we seek out, we try this, and we try that, we try the other, and we're trying all these different things for all these different dots, but they either don't work or they work for some dots and not for other dots. So we're left with some dots that are not really sorted and some that maybe are. So then what's the third solution? The third solution is something akin to what I do. And I stumbled across this, as most of us do, in a very unplanned way. It's like, even though I was at that age and I knew that my periods would stop at some point, and I was aware that, yeah, sometimes I felt a bit hot. It was like, well, I know this is happening, but I'm not really expecting it. And so I stumbled into it and stumbled through it, and had a hellish time. And through a combination of doing stuff for me, that worked. But remember, just because it works for me doesn't mean it works for you. I know. But also working with clients at that time, I wasn't specializing in menopause. I was just working with anxious people and depressed people and panicky people, and people couldn't think straight and couldn't concentrate and forgot things and got angry. And I was dealing with all of those things. But I also started to work with people who had those symptoms, who were about that age. And then I started to work with some people who were telling me, sorry, I just got distracted there by a message on my screen. I'm ignoring it. Who were telling me, oh, I'm on this HRT or I'm on these antidepressants, and remember my dots, but it's not dealing with all the dots. So where I think sticking with this group, Menopause, Anxiety, Freedom, following this path can really work for you if you've tried all those other things, or even if you think, I don't want to be trying all these other things. What makes the difference with this is, instead of going, let's treat this dot, let's treat that dot, let's treat this dot over here, which dot, oh Lord, there's another one, oh I'll deal with that now. Stick with my dot analogy. Instead, the approach that I take is go, hang on a minute, none of those dots are any fun, are they? They're not like your friends. You don't want to keep those dots. You don't really like those dots. So instead of paying a lot of attention to those dots, why don't we start creating some dots that we quite like? Why don't we start looking at that and thinking, whoa, wouldn't it be nice if, and begin to chart a new path with new dots. And as we chart that path, I'm metaphorically speaking as ever, but in a nutshell, this is kind of how I work with people. And this can be the breakthrough when nothing else works, is go, okay, let's create some new dots, which are nice dots. Oh, yeah, I'd quite like to do that. I'd quite like to go there. I'd quite like to feel like that. Oh, that would be amazing. And as we start to create these new dots, we start to stimulate new positive neural pathways. But the dots on their own still aren't enough. even in the positive sense, just creating a few dots won't be enough. You're going to start continuing to add data, if you like, emotional data to those dots. And I can't share in this short video how you do that, but effectively creating smaller dots that join the bigger dots. This is how a positive neural pathway, any neural pathway is formed, is creating more and more those little dots of synaptic connections to the neurons. And as we do that, those random but nice dots begin to get connected. And those old dots over there that actually had connections that were taking you down places you didn't want to go, suddenly become less important. It's like they get grayed out. And these new ones, imagine those being turned up in bright Technicolor, those become your new pathway. And once you learn how to do that and you discover that it works, it isn't, oh, if I stop taking the pill, I don't mean the contraceptive pill, you know, whatever pill it is, then I lose all the benefits. It's something that you can sustain, that changes your life permanently, that transforms what you do, how you do it, who you are, your potential. That suddenly doesn't just rediscover who you are, but takes you to a whole different place. And that's a million times better. Now, you've only got my word for it, but that's all I can give you. So you've got those choices. You've got a complete, and the difference here is that this, like these new dots, are entirely personal to you. It's about your journey, your individual characteristics, your experience. That is never the same as anybody else's. And so if you like, this is kind of the bespoke tailor end of things. We've gone from the GPs, which is, well, this comes in red or blue. What do you want? Do you want the red one or do you want the blue one? No, I don't. What about a yellow one? No, I don't do yellow. I do red or blue. So there's your GP option. Right, two options, or Henry Ford. This comes in black, love, or white, although it didn't. But you know, imagine he's had two colours. Henry Ford, remember cars? Or you've got the big DIY store, so the B&Q version of, oh, we have a pill for this, we have a supplement for that, we have a mineral for this, we have some oil for that. Oh, that's the BIQ, but I'm not going to tell you how to do it. You know, they're on the shelves, pick them off. Yeah, it works for some people. You know, there's the whole multi pick and mix. Oh my goodness, I'm overwhelmed by all the choice. That's your middle DIY section. And then there's me and my dots, or someone like me, with the kind of tailored route. This is, okay, don't worry, don't panic about the fact that you don't know where you're going, you don't know what you're doing, your symptoms are different to everybody else's, your journey's different, you're different. That's okay, we can take care of that because we do made to measure bespoke. And then not only that, we teach you how to do it while you're doing it. So I hope that's made sense, my dots and my analogy with the, you know, there's two versions. Do you want it in blue or do you want it in red? There's the whole plethora of choices on the B&Q DIY shelves. You know, if you listen to me a lot, you know I love to mix metaphors. Or there's the bespoke, okay, I'm an individual, my experience is completely different, unique. Oh, help me. There's that route. Okay, I hope my curious story, as ever, has shed a little bit of light, bit of light for you. And if you're on the Menopause Anxiety Freedom group, fantastic. If you're on the podcast and listening to this and you want the video, you need to shuffle yourself over to Facebook. I know. And sign up to the Menopause Anxiety Freedom group, where the video training of this, you can see me in my weird and wonderful way and the way I move my hands and look away from the camera and all of that stuff. If you want all that wonderful stuff, you need to go to Facebook. Okay, I'll catch you tomorrow. Have a brilliant rest of the day. There'll now be a short pause while I press buttons and look away from the camera.